response. It's appeared.
We're live.
Assalamualaikum, everybody. Welcome back to day 15 of the By Kids for Kids program. And today we're happy to bring you another to some new names of Allah, which is going to be presented to you by the Mia sisters. So I'll let them go ahead.
Assalamualaikum.
Wait, now go.
Assalamualaikum, Mia here.
Welcome to day 15 of learning in 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Wow, subhanallah. It's already day 15. We already halfway through Ramadan. So let's get started. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbana zidni ilma.
رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. Names for today are Al-Mujib, Al-Wasi', Aisha,
Al-Qayyim. So Al-Mujib means the responder. This name comes in the Quran 2 times.
Al-Mujib is from the verb ajaba, which means to answer or to reply. And the word, I'm sure many of you have heard, jawab, means a reply or an answer. Allah is the answerer to all those who call on Him. Al-Mujib is the one who responds to those who call upon Him. This is the greatness and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is Al-Mujib. So linguistically, Mujib is someone who answers and gives what is requested of him. So when someone asks this person, he gives what they ask, and when someone requests something, he gives what they requested. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Mujib. He responds to his slaves when they ask him. And when someone does call upon him, he doesn't ignore or he doesn't leave them on red. He doesn't ignore his slaves. He answers his slaves because, remember, we learned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wanting you to ask him because he is Al-Kareem. And he's never too busy to answer to his slaves because he is above that weakness. We see many times in the Quran that even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is answering the questions that the companions had asked. So in the Quran, when you're reading, you may see the word yas'alunaka many times, and that means they would ask you, and you is referring to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the companions or the Sahabas, they would ask him questions, and in return Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would send the answer in the Quran. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wouldn't leave them in their ignorance. He gave them an answer. He gave them clarification and guidance through the verses of the Quran. And when you call upon Allah, when you remember or when you mention or when you praise Allah, He answers you always. And even when we're saying in our salah, when we're reciting Surah Fatiha, which, is a surah that we most frequently recite probably from the entire Quran, it's actually a conversation that's happening between yourself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like when you say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, all praise belongs to Allah, Lord of all the worlds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers in return, and He says, my slave or my servant has praised me. And when we say Maliki Yawmiddin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, my slave is glorifying me. And that's for like the entire Surah Fatiha. And even for the last ayah, when we say صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين, when we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance and asking Him to keep us away from the path of those who have become lost, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is for my slave, and my slave will have what he is asking for. And we're asking for guidance there, basically. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying he will give what we are asking for. Subhanallah. So when we're talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he truly does answer. And at times we don't even know it. And one thing everyone should note from this name is to never, ever think that your calls are not being heard. Because honestly, there are times when we call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or when we make dua asking for something, and we don't get a direct response, or we just don't get a response right away as we were expecting. Don't think that your call or your dua that you made was not heard, because surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is as-sami'. He hears everything. All that is required of us is to have patience, have sabr, and trust on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his plan. Have trust that he has heard you and he heard that what you are asking for. And he always has a better plan, because after all, he is the best of the planners. He does know everything, including what's best for you in your favor.
Al-Wasa means the all encompassing. It appears in the Quran 8 times, 4 times in Surah Baqarah.
The all-encompassing. Wasi'a, to be wide or to contain or encompass. Al-Was'a means the capacity. He encompasses all that we need, know, and perceive. His wealth is beyond vast. The concept of wasi' in the Arabic language points out to something that has it's something too vast to imagine. This attribute of Allah in itself is limitless, just like his other attributes, such as giving, seeing, knowing. We've learned these other attributes previously. I sure hope you guys remember. Anyways, Allah calls himself Al-Wasi', the all-sufficient, on 8 occasions in the Quran. Al-Wasi' is beyond and has boundless capacities. He encompasses the whole of creation with his blessings, care, and kindness. He is the self-sufficient and sufficient for all. Nothing is beyond him, and to any of his attributes. The mind simply can't grasp his essence and power, subhanAllah. His knowledge is greater than everything. His might suffices everything. His mercy is endless. He is independent. His authority is above. Might and benevolence are the greatest. He is the one for the meaning of whose attributes there can be no limit. None at all. We can't even grasp this. Our mind cannot comprehend it. His knowledge is the most and the greatest, and so is his mercy and forgiveness. His dominion is tremendous. The absolute Al-Wasi' is Allah. Glorified and exalted is he. There is no end for what he is capable of giving and blessing. All of that being said, the previous name we've learned come to mind. For example, Al-Ali, the high, the exalted. No one can be as exalted or high as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Wasi' is the all-encompassing, the most magnificent. He is boundlessly generous to all those who call upon him. All of his attributes are perfect. All of his names are great. No amount of praise can exalt him enough.
Al-Kam means the perfectly wise. This name comes 92 times, and the most times is in Surah Nisa.
So Al-Hakim comes from the verb hakama, which means to exercise authority or to judge. And hikmah, we learned previously, means wisdom. Now, this name ties in with the name we did previously, Al-Hakam, which means the judge. And we discussed this before as well, how certain names of Allah, they all come from the same root, basically, like Al-Ghaffar and Al-Ghafir. But the names, although they come from the same root, they are used in different contexts. So Al-Hakam means like the most wise of the judges, and Al-Hakim means the most perfectly wise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decisions are perfected. Wisdom belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And not only that, but the most perfect wisdom. And remember that the final outcome will always be in your favor, sooner or later. So accept and be pleased with his perfect decisions, because at the end of the day, you may not see it in the beginning, but they will come in your favor. So just be patient. His book, the Quran, is also referred to as Hakim because it is full of wisdom. It's basically a guide for life, filled with the most perfect steps and the most perfect wisdom. So hold on tight to this book, because honestly, if you need success or you want success in this life and the next, that's your guide. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says he gives wisdom to whomsoever he wills, and whoever is given wisdom is given a lot of good. It is, if you're wanting wisdom or you're making dua for it, call upon Al-Hakim to give you that wisdom. And who better to call upon than the one with the most perfect wisdom? And not only that, but at times, when you're stuck or you have to make a tough decision and you really can't decide and you're in a, awful kind of confusing position, basically. Call upon the one whose wisdom, whose decisions are the most perfect. And trust that whatever he decides will be through his wisdom, because he knows us more than anyone else does. He is Al-Alim, he is the all-knowing. So trust his wisdom because it is the most perfect.
What did you learn today?
You guys can take turns coming up if you like. We prefer you come on rather than type in the chat, so it's easier for us.
I have a favorite name.
Yes, you can go ahead, Samiha.
I like Al-Hakim, the perfectly wise.
That's good. Yeah, I like that name too a lot. Anyone else?
I would
Micah?
say Al-Wasi because it's like the always giving, like Allah always gives and that never ends.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Was someone else talking?
All of the names today were very beautiful, but I think the one that was my most favorite was Al-Mujib, the responder, because when we're making duas, then we know that he even called himself the responder. He will respond to us.
Yes, subhanAllah. And that's an important thing to keep in mind, especially with Ramadan and how we're like very close to, designing our dream duas. So always be patient, I guess. And remember that Al-Mujib will respond to them. We'll move on for now.
Tashakka for joining us.
Mia out. Rizwan, you're on mute.
Right, sorry about that. So thank you, Mia Sister, for giving us another amazing presentation. Next, we have Ramesa here that made a video, so we're going to play that video for you guys right now. So I'll just let you guys play that.
Yeah. What's up?
Hannah, thank you.
Next one है बहुत सारी लिए
नहीं अमरूद खराब थे बहुत खराब खुशबू
Fresh, 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 fresh. Okay, no. Fresh. You. 14 minutes.
13 minutes? Oh my goodness.
Lesson up.
13 minutes to watch your video?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Why is it not? But I think you should use some good things, like good,
Will this be good?
listen,
Will this be good?
no, I'm just saying, you should use good quality screen recording apps. This one is kind of blurry, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just use the good
No,
quality. Yeah.
that thing already happened to my tablet. That happened already, so we're not.
No, your tablet is perfectly fine. It's just because of the app you're using does not have a good quality. I like it.
Listen,
I
I
really
learned
like
how to make glass. So crazy. I learned everything black.
Yeah.
Okay,
वरना थोड़ी हो-
you go down and you play. Messi, look how cute this buddy looks like. Yumna, see how cute it. What's happening? Okay, so we're enjoying. Okay, you know.
इसलिए जो नहीं क्या नाम आते
You can make a video. Not for video. I found a game. Teal is not loading at all. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I know people voting me. And record it. Okay, dude. Turbo jelly. What's that?
All right, so that was a great craft from Ramesa. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. So that's all for today, day 15. We'll see you guys tomorrow for day 16 of the By Kids for Kids program. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.